ছাত্ৰ ছাত্ৰীসকল আজি আমি ৰিফ্লেকশ্যন অফ লাইট থ্ৰু প্ৰিজম মানে আমি প্ৰিজমৰ থ্ৰুদি কেনেকৈ ৰিফ্লেকশ্যন হয় সেই ফেনমেনাটোৰ ওপৰত আমি ষ্টাডি কৰিম দ্যাট মিন্স ৰিফ্লেকশ্যন অফ লাইট থ্ৰু প্ৰিজম so what is prism before we discuss about the reflection of light through prism we have to know about what is prism. Okay, so prism is one of the reflecting material made of glass. One of the reflecting material made of glass. It consists of 5 surfaces. Yat kekhon surface thaiba 5 surface. It consists of 5 surfaces like this. Generally, it is defined like this. It is a homogeneous, transparent, reflecting medium bounded by at least 2 non-parallel plane surfaces inclined at some angle. That means it is a transparent medium, transparent reflecting medium bounded by 2 non-parallel planes. Okay, non-parallel plane surface. Okay, so this is the this is the prism. This is okay. So in this prism, here we get 5 surfaces. First you see these surfaces are A dash, B dash, A dash, C dash, B dash, C dash. These 3 surfaces are rectangular surface. A dash, B dash, A dash, C dash, and B dash, C dash. These 3 surfaces are rectangular surface. Okay. Next, A, B, C and A dash, B dash, C dash. These 2 surfaces are triangular surface. Okay. So how a prism can be made? Okay. So it is here it is a homogeneous transparent medium bounded by 2 non-parallel planes. These 2 non-parallel planes are A dash, B dash. This surface A dash, B dash, a surface. Next A dash, C dash. These 2 surfaces are non-parallel plane. Okay. Next B dash, C dash. This is known as base surface. That means 2 non-parallel planes are based on this surface. That means like this. If you consider a base, suppose this is a plane of paper. Okay. So this base like this. So here you get this and this. These are two reflecting surface. These 2 surfaces are reflecting surface. Edukon surface edukon dekhisa already. So these 2 surfaces are like this. Suppose like this. These 2 surfaces are reflecting non-parallel surface. And below this surface, this is base. This is 2 non-parallel surface and this is base. Okay. So this part, this is known as prism H. Here A dash is known as prism H. Okay. So angle between these 2 reflecting surface, A surface jukhonor majo jitu angle, this angle, the angle between the 2 reflecting surface is known as prism angle. I am already show korisu. So these are inclined surface. B dash, C dash is base. A dash is prism H. Angle A is prism angle. Prism angle is different in different cases. Suppose if the prism is equilateral prism, then angle of prism is 60 degree. Okay. If the prism is isosceles, total internal reflecting prism, that means isosceles 90 degree prism. Okay. So in this case, prism angle becomes 90 degree. That means A equal to 90 degree. In case of equilateral prism, angle of prism is 60 degree. ঠিক আছে? গতিকে সেই কথাটো তোমালোকে মনত ৰাখিবা। ঠিক আছে? In case of equilateral prism, angle of prism is 60 degree and in 90 degree isosceles prism in which total internal reflection phenomena takes place, in that case angle of prism is 90 degree. Okay. So this is the main part of the prism. So how reflections takes place in prism? Suppose this is a prism. This is prism. This is A this is B, and this is C. A, B, C. Okay, this is. If we see that, যদি আমি প্ৰিজমটো একদম সন্মুখৰ ফালৰ পৰা চাওঁ, আমি ট্ৰায়াঙ্গুলাৰ সাৰফেসৰ পৰা যদি চাওঁ, ট্ৰায়াঙ্গুলাৰ সাৰফেসটো পৰা যদি মুভ কৰি চাওঁ, তেতিয়া দেখালে আমি প্ৰিজমটো এনেকৈ দেখিম A, B, C. So if a ray of light is incident on the first refracting inclined surface, so this is OP, is incident ray. Okay, then it is refract. So PQ be the refracted ray, and finally it is emerged through QR. That means QR be the emergent ray. OP incident ray, PQ refracted ray, and QR be the emergent ray. Okay, so here you see incident ray, refracted ray, QR, emergent ray. So the angle made by incident ray with the normal, this is I, this is angle of, this is incident angle. Angle E, this is emergent angle. This emergent ray making an angle with the normal, that is known as emergent angle. Okay, sir? So here we get another angle here inside the prism, the refracted ray. Inside the prism, refracted ray behave as, that means PQ behave as both refracted ray and incident ray. PQ behave as refracted ray and incident ray. Okay, for first refracting surface, that means for the surface AB, this PQ, that means for the first surface AB, this is incident ray, this is refracted ray. Here light ray travel from rear to denser. Okay, so here this refracted ray making an angle with the normal, this is a refracted angle. Suppose this angle, that means SPQ, that is inside it, this angle is suppose R1. That means SPQ equal to R1. Here I mean next, in this case, in the second surface, ray of light travel from denser to rear medium. For first surface, ray of light travel from rear to denser. But in second surface, ray of light travel from denser to rear medium. Okay? So in this case, this PQ behave as incident ray on the second surface. Yes, sir? So this angle becomes incident angle in the second surface. Then it is emerged. Okay, it is reflected ray. This is reflected ray for the second surface, but this ray is emerged from the prism. So this QR is known as emergent ray. Okay, so here we get another. ঠিক আছে, এইটো ডায়াগ্ৰাম থাকিবা আৰু এটা চোৱা কথা, এইটো মই দিছো। আমি ডায়াগ্ৰামটা অকণমান ডাঙৰকৈ আঁকিছোঁ। The original direction of incident ray. Okay, this is normal, and this is the ray, refracted ray, and again it is immersed in this direction like this. This is again this normal. Okay, so this is A, B, C, O, P, Q, R. So this is angle of incident. This refracted ray for the first surface make an angle with the normal. This is R1. This is R2. R2. And this is E, emergent. So this emergent ray making an angle with incident ray, it is known as delta. Delta. This is delta. This is deviation angle or D. Okay? This deviation angle or D. I mean, D will do delta will do. Okay, sir. So this PQR, this is S. So from this diagram, we can determine the refractive index of prism. Refractive index of prism in terms of prism angle and deviation angle. Okay? So what is deviation? Deviation means when a beam of light is passing through a refracting material, then it diverges from its original direction of incident ray. So the angle made by the emergent ray or diverging ray with the original direction of incident ray is known as deviation angle. Okay? So in case of prism, if the angle of incidence is gradually increases, then angle of deviations also gradually decreases. If the angle of incidence is gradually increases, suppose the angle of incidence is considered 30 degree. If the angle of incidence is gradually increases from 30 degree, suppose 30 degree, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, like this. If the angle of incidence is gradually increases from 30 degree, suppose, okay, next then the deviation angle is gradually decreases. Okay, suppose 30 degree it is maximum, 35 degrees decreases, 40 degree decreases, and at a certain angle of incidence, the refracted ray, this refracted ray becomes parallel to this surface, that is base surface. The refracted ray PQ inside the prism becomes parallel to the base surface. So in that case, the angle of incidence is equal to angle of emergence. That means I equal to E. In that case, that deviation angle is known as minimum deviation. Here condition to zero deviation angle minimum deviation. That means for deviation angle, what is minimum deviation? It is a deviation angle for a certain angle of incidence in which angle of incidence is equal to angle of emergence and refracted ray becomes parallel to the base surface. So that angle is known as minimum deviation angle. Okay? So if you draw a graph in that condition, that means at minimum deviation, the minimum deviation to point out minimum deviation, if you draw a graph in between angle of incidence along x-axis and angle of deviation, angle of incidence, then we graph like this. Okay, we get a graph like this, angle of incidence and angle of incidence. So here this angle, this condition, this is for this angle of incidence, the deviation angle becomes minimum. So it is known as delta M. Delta M. It is known as minimum deviation. কি বুলি কোৱা হয়? Delta M. কি বুলি কোৱা হয়? Minimum deviation. Delta. ধৰিব পাইছা নে এইটো? Delta ইগনোট কৰা হৈছে ইয়াৰ পিছত আমি এতিয়া খুঁটিব পাৰে এইটো আমাৰ যে ইয়াত angle of incidence আৰু angle of emergence কিমান. So here if the angle of incidence is suppose 45 degree, then angle of emergence is also 45 degree. Okay, so at minimum deviation আমি কি পালো? At minimum deviation angle I equal to angle E. Angle of incidence is equal to angle of emergence. Okay, so refracted ray becomes at minimum deviation, that is delta M. Angle of incidence is equal to angle of emergence, and refracted ray becomes parallel to the base surface. Okay? So next we discuss about refraction through prism. That means relation between next tomorrow headline to likhi lobo para ইয়াৰ পাছত diagram এটো আহিব আমাৰ এটো diagram আমি ইউজ কৰিম next relation between mu, that means refractive index, and minimum deviation. Okay, so a beam of light is incident on the prism at the point P. That means OP is the incident ray. A beam of light is incident at the point P. Then after refraction, it is moving in this direction. That is through, it is reflected through PQ, and finally it is emerged from the prism at an angle I along QR direction. Okay, a beam of light is incident at the point P on the first surface of prism at an angle I. Then it is reflected, and finally emerged. That means finally it is emerged from the prism. Finally it is emerged from the prism along QR by making an angle E. Okay, so now from figure, here we, in case of cyclic quadrilateral, here we get APQR, sorry, QS. APQS, that means APSQ. Okay, here APSQ is a cyclic quadrilateral, সক্রিয় চতুর্ভুজ. মানে cyclic quadrilateral কি আছে যে ফ্ৰণ্টত যি দুটা এংগল থাকে সেই ফ্ৰণ্টৰ এংগল দুটাৰ সামটো কিমান হ'ব 180 ডিগ্ৰী. In case of cyclic quadrilateral, that means sum of the front angle is equal to 180 degree. So here APS plus AQS equal to 180 degree. Okay, therefore angle A plus PSQ is equal to 180 degree. That means sum of the total angle of a quadrilateral is 360 degree. If these and these are 180 degree, and this plus this equal to 180 degree. ठीक है sir? So now we get APSQ is a cyclic quadrilateral. Therefore angle A plus angle PSQ equal to 180 degree. Equation 1. Again from triangle PSQ we get angle R1 plus angle R2 plus angle PSQ equal to 180 degree. Equation number 2. Angle R1 plus angle R2 plus angle PSQ equal to 180 degree. Equation number 2. So from 1 and 2, we get, so this right hand sides are equal, 1 or 2. PSQ equal, then angle A equal to angle R1 plus angle R2. So this is equation number 3. Okay? Again from exterior angle theorem, that means delta. This exterior angle theorem, this delta equal to TPQ plus TQP. Delta equal to TPQ plus TQP. Next equation from the exterior angle theorem. From exterior angle theorem, we get exterior angle theorem. Exterior angle theorem, we get angle delta equal to angle TPQ. This is TPQ plus angle TQP. So TPQ plus TQP. Then delta equal to, so this TPQ equal to TPS minus R1. TPQ A2. So this TPQ equal to TPS minus R1 and TQP equal to TQS minus R2. I mean, a gote angle to pra jodi etu minus konti thale etu kom aru a gote angle to pra jodi etu minus konti thale etu kom. So this and this a2 etuta equal, TPS equal to I and TQS equal to E. Hane? So delta equal to ami likhibo parim this I minus R1. Delta equal to plus I minus R2 কিহৰ ক্ষেত্ৰত TPQ পৰা আহিলে and angle TQP E minus R2. Okay, so this delta equal to I plus E minus bracket to যদি ভাঙি দিও R1 plus R2. So equation 3 gives R1 plus R2 equal to A. Right? So delta equal to I plus E minus A from 3. Tini proper equation from 3. Okay? A did a follow. So this I plus E equal to A plus delta. So this is the one on the equation. Equation number 4. I plus C equal to A plus delta. This is the relation between incident angle, emergent angle, prism angle, diffusion angle. Incident angle, emergent, that means this is 4 angle. We have demand kita angle ase. Refracted angle kita bati. Incident, emergent, deviation, prism angle. But you could how incident and emergent angle related with deviation angle and prism angle. Okay, sir. So this is the derivation. Okay. So at minimum deviation we know. So what happened in minimum deviation? I mean already passed. In case of minimum deviation, angle of incidence is equal to angle of measure. So the minimum deviation A is to delta. A is to delta. We have used crochet to form this thing. What can you do? এই ডেল্টাটো যদি মিনিমাম হৈ যায় আমি যেটালৈ গ্ৰাফ ড্ৰ কৰিছে ইউ শেপৰ if delta becomes minimum then e and I both are equal ঠিক আছে আমি অলরেডি আগত কৈছো যে মিনিমাম ডেভিয়েশনৰ পাছত যদি যেটো পজিশনত ডেভিয়েশন এংগলটো মিনিমাম হয় তাৰ পাছত যদি এংগল অফ ইনসিডেন্স বহাই দিও তেতিয়া কিন্তু এংগল অফ ডেভিয়েশনটো কমি নাযায় সেই কমান এনেকে বাঢ়ি যাব হেতু কাৰণে গ্ৰাফডাল আমি এনেকুৱা চাব পাৰো এংগল অফ ইনসিডেন্স বাঢ়ি গৈ আছে এংগল অফ ডেভিয়েশন কমানে কমি আহিছে এটা সময় হেতু মিনিমাম হয় তাৰ পাছত এংগল অফ ইনসিডেন্স বহাই দিলা এংগল অফ ডেভিয়েশন আকৌ এনেকে বাঢ়ি গ'ল হেতু কাৰণে গ্ৰাফডাল কি হ'ল এনেকে ইউ শেপ হয় হলে তো ইয়াৰ ক্ষেত্ৰত যদি আমি কনসিডাৰ কৰো নেক্সট এট মিনিমাম ডেভিয়েশন হোৱাট হ্যাপেন at minimum deviation at minimum deviation delta equal to delta m so I equal to E equal to I will do it. Okay, that means I equal to E. Angle R1 equal to angle R2. That I equal to the E হয়, it is the A2 হয়, R1 equal to R2 equal to R. Then equation 3 and 4 becomes 3 and 4 becomes আমি ইকুয়েশন নাম্বার 3 পালো যে r1 equal to r2 এটা this r r plus r that means twice r equation 3 implies twice r equal to angle a okay so r equal to a by 2 okay so this is equation number 4 sorry 5 now button like negative next from equation 4 implies this is I plus C I equal to E twice I equal to A plus delta so A plus delta means delta M A plus delta means delta M so this I equal to A plus delta M by 2 R equal to A by 2 I equal to A plus delta M by 2 ठीक है sir so next if you apply Snell's law mu equal to sin I by sin R so then we Snell's law to apply now from Snell's law so from Snell's law we get this mu equal to sin A by sin R so I means A plus delta M by 2 and R means A by 2 so this mu equal to sin of A plus delta M by 2 divided by sin A by 2 so this is the relation between refractive index and angle of minimum deviation ठीक है sir so this is the relation between refractive index and angle of minimum deviation and prism angle ঠিক আছে এই ডেভিয়েশন তোমকে চাবা হ'ব তে ইয়াৰ পাছত আমি যদি রিফ্লেকশনস থ্ৰু থিন প্ৰিজম বুলি কোৱা হয় রিফ্লেকশনস থ্ৰু থিন প্ৰিজম মানে থিন প্ৰিজমৰ ক্ষেত্ৰত কি হয় চাই লোৱা so in case of thin prism refractions through thin prism this angle of prism is minimum so in this case angle of prism is minimum in case of refractions through thin prism angle of prism is minimum you get only likha next in case of thin prism thin prism, angle of prism A is small. That means angle A is small. So angle I is also small. Angle angle of prism is, in case of thin prism, angle A is small. That means prism angle is small. If prism angle to horu hoy, then sine A plus delta m by 2 tends to A plus delta m by 2, and sine A by 2 tends to A by 2. কি বুলি কৈছে যেনেকৈ আমি sin I tends to I and sin R tends to R বুলি আগতে কৈছিলোঁ, এইটো আমি স্ফেৰিকেল সাৰফেসতো কৈছিলোঁ বা আমাৰ বেলেগত কৈছিলোঁ, মানে sin I tends to I, sin R tends to R, গতে ইয়াৰ ক্ষেত্ৰতো আমাৰ সেইটো আহিব যে if the angle is small, therefore sin A plus delta m by 2 tends to this. That means sin theta tends to theta লেখা হৈ যাব, হয়নে? গতিকে sin A plus delta m by 2 tends to A plus delta m by 2 and sin A by 2 tends to A by 2. ঠিক আছে, এইটো যদি আমি ইয়াত এপ্লাই কৰি দিওঁ তেতিয়াহ'লে কিমান হ'ব? এইটো যদি আমি এপ্লাই কৰোঁ, therefore mu equal to A plus delta m by 2 divided by A by 2. এইটো কৰি নাই, mu equal to A plus delta m and divided by A. So delta m equal to mu minus 1 into A. A plus delta m labo, equal to mu labo, so mu minus 1 into A. So this is the one of the relation between deviation angle and refractive index and prism angle. So in case of thin prism. Okay, so this is the refractions through prism. Okay.